At the time of this recording, I am 33 years old. At 24, I quit my job as a video editor at TSN Sports Center, making $36,000 a year to become a full-time entrepreneur. Since then, I've made up to $100,000 in a single month through my online businesses. If I could go back in time and talk to my 20-year-old self and give some advice on how to make some real money so much faster, here's what I would say. Number one, don't take advice from people who haven't achieved what you're trying to achieve. I got into a big fight with my family when I decided to leave my job at 24 years old because it was nice, it was safe, that's what they'd done with their lives, and it looked absolutely crazy to them. Why would you leave this cushy job and go for these crazy goals that you have, especially when you're not even making money yet, really in any other way? Almost every time your friends and family will give you advice that is low risk because that's the life that they're living. They're living a low risk life. They're living a life where they're not going after their highest potential and trying to achieve things that only a very few amount of people ever get to achieve. If there's anything that you get out of this video, even if you click off right after this, just remember this. Your beliefs and your actions need to be rare as fuck in order for you to get results that are rare as fuck. So inherently, the advice that your friends and family are giving you, if they're sort of getting average and mediocre results themselves, will be lumped in with all of the average and mediocre thinking and beliefs and action taking that won't lead to the very thing that you're trying to get yourself. So separate yourself from the groupthink. Recognize that you're going to be a lone wolf here. A lot of the things that you're doing are going to look very weird, and that's completely okay. Lean into that as hard as you possibly can because that's what's going to get you different results than what everybody else gets. Number two, don't partner in your first business. Partnerships work best with experienced entrepreneurs who know how to handle all the intricacies of running a business. If you're running a business for the first time, you don't know how to deal with all of the ups and downs. And if you're working with a partner that's never done that either, both of you guys are going to be on this roller coaster going up and down, not knowing how to handle it together. At the same time, if you're first-time entrepreneurs in a partnership, you're likely going to lack communication skills that you need and that are required within your business in order for you to work together well. You're also going to not be able to clarify the responsibilities that each of you really need to distinguish clearly that each of you have inside of your business. There's also different levels of motivation, different skill sets that both of you have, and I'm saying this from experience. My first business, I partnered with a friend of mine, and thank God we're still friends to this day, but it ended up in 3 years in us parting ways, and it was really difficult to talk about. Those 3 years were kind of tricky because we were just on such different modes, and I don't want you to experience that. This is not to say that you can't make it work if you get into a partnership, but if you're not in one and you're thinking about it, don't do it. Just start your first business on your own. Number three is dream bigger and aim higher. Whatever niche you decide to go down when you're first starting up a business in your 20s will work for you if you stick with it long enough. But you don't want to pigeonhole yourself in a niche that's just too small, where if you completely exercise that niche to its fullest potential, it's still too small and it doesn't match your dreams. If you look at what I've done with K-Bud Apparel, my clothing brand, or even this YouTube channel, Apparel Success, I really sort of, from the beginning, wish I had aimed higher and gone for something a whole lot bigger that I could have worked towards over 10, 20 years. This is a really hard lesson to grasp if you're in your 20s because you haven't really seen how things can really add up over 5 or 10 years to snowball into something massive. But now that I'm 33 and I look at how far I've come with K-Bud and with this YouTube channel, I think, wow, imagine if I just aimed a whole lot bigger and made the scope bigger. I would have put in the same amount of work and the same amount of effort, and I probably would have been at like 5 or 10x higher than what I did by just simply being the apparel guy. Now, this isn't to say that niches aren't great. You definitely want to have a focus and go into a niche that's underserved where you can dominate it. But if you know that you're that extremely competitive person who can probably win at a slightly bigger level, go with whatever you feel your potential can handle. Number four, 90% of your experience will feel like failure, and that's okay. Fucking relax, man. It's totally cool. The day-to-day of running a business feels mostly like failure, and that's just the nature of entrepreneurship. Posts that flop on social media, something breaking on your website, a customer complaint. It's just this constant storm that you're going to be facing as an entrepreneur, and that will just never end. But the issue that I had in my 20s is that I thought something was wrong with my business. I thought something was wrong with me because it felt like everything that I was trying was leading to failure. Like posting on social media 50 times and only having like 2 videos do somewhat okay and all the rest flopping for your first 50 posts is a normal experience. This is completely normal, and I wish at the time I'd had that understanding to just be able to stick to the process and not get so emotionally entangled in it in my 20s. The nature of trying to grow a business is that we suffer for 90% of the so that we can experience 10% of the benefits. Number 5, this is the biggest lesson I'd tell myself in my 20s. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. What if I told you that you are not unique in wanting to make a lot of money and become successful? A lot of people think that they're the only one who's motivated or trying to make a lot of money in their lives. But your goals aren't what's going to separate you from the competition, and your goals aren't what's going to make you successful. What's going to make you successful is the quality of the systems that you have in place to achieve those things. The quality of your systems is what creates value, and creating value is what's going to generate the results for you and get you a lot of money. So I tell myself, just because you're aspiring to have a successful brand or aspiring to make a lot of money online doesn't give you any sort of entitlement to achieving that. What's going to allow you to get there is how consistent are you being? How good are your strategies, and how long are you willing to stick with them? That is what's going to separate you from the competition, and that's what's going to give you a competitive advantage to achieve the results that you really want to get. Now, those first 5 are huge, and I'm going to share with you 5 more that are even better. But first, I want to let you know, my sponsor came up to me, he goes, "Hey Rob, next time you do this little pitch, why don't you make it a little more entertaining for your fans so that they don't get bored and click off every time you try and promote our tools?" And I said, "Well, what do you want me to do? Take my shirt off?" Which is not what I'm going to do, but what you should do is go to design.com/apparel success. I know you've got a sick creative idea for a design in your brain somewhere. You type in that idea, smash that enter button. Now, looking through these designs, you can hate 99% of them, but maybe you find one that you love. You click on it, you can edit it, you can play around with it, you could turn it into a pair of boobies if you want to. And hey, you can play around with all this for free. If you need designs made for your brand, just go to design.com/apparel success and you'll get up to 88% off the check. Okay, number 6, don't be shy. Be loud and be annoying. When I was in my 20s, I was so concerned about what people thought of me when I'd post a video on YouTube. What did I look like? Did I look like an idiot? And it was all this reputation management and this managing my ego. I'd get shy about how I looked in a video. It had to be absolutely perfect, or even how I ran ads for my company. Like every ad had to be amazing and there couldn't be any controversy or anything to get really crazy attention in it, which is crazy because that's the whole point of marketing in the first place. If you want to get yourself out there, you have to be loud and you have to be bold. What you realize very clearly the longer you've been doing this is that getting any attention at all on your stuff is very hard, and it takes some crazy risk taking, and you need to have your foot fully on the gas with this stuff. You can't be in defense mode, because if you're in defense mode and you're constantly worried about what people think of you, and you're only posting every once in a while, and you're being kind of shy on camera, you're not truly being yourself, you're absolutely f***ed. Number 7 is start killing your ego as soon as possible. This is what holds you back from doing truly good work. The best work comes out of authenticity. It's when you're being yourself. It's when you're relaxed and you're letting out your true creativity. It's really hard to be relaxed and let out your true creativity where everything's just flying out of you, whether you're doing a design, whether you're shooting a video like this. If all that you're thinking about is maintaining your ego, having to look a certain way, having to get impressions. So think expression. You want to be expressing rather than just trying to get impressions. So expression versus impression is a great tip I would have told myself in my 20s, because everything that you do with an ego performs worse, and everything that you do without an ego performs better. Me right now, I don't give a shit what you think of me. This is about me giving you value and sharing my ideas and my experiences from my 20s. It's the same thing with sports. If you go into it and you're playing golf with a bunch of your friends and you start thinking, oh, I need to hit this shot so that everybody thinks I'm good, you're gonna start playing like crap. Whereas if you just focus on the ball and hitting the ball as best as you possibly can, you're likely gonna perform so much better. Treat yourself as a human being who's developing skills, not as someone who's better than people just because. There's always a bigger fish, as Qui-Gon Jinn says. Number 8, don't underestimate just how much you can accomplish in 5 years. When you're in your 20s and you're 21, you've never seen before what working on a business for 5 years can do for you, and how working for 5 years, how things just really evolve over time. Meanwhile, in the day-to-day functioning of your business, it feels like you're making no progress whatsoever. This is a really hard thing to wrap your head around until you've experienced it. For example, K-Bud, my clothing brand, was only doing like $7,000 or $10,000 a month in our second year, and it felt like everything was moving kind of slowly. But by our 4th year, by our 5th year, we were doing up to $70,000 a month in sales. On a day-to-day basis, though, it didn't really feel like that. It felt like just one day, all of a sudden, we had a $70,000 month and we just got here. But it was just the compounding of the work over time and sticking with something and being consistent. So if you're a year in and it feels like you've been working at this for a long time and you haven't gotten anywhere, you're still in your infant stages of your business. And it's normal for businesses in their first year to not make any money, to still be struggling to make sales. And you never know where things are going to be in 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years. Number 9, Rob, in your 20s, learn how to manage your stress. Every day that you're running your business, you're going to be dealing with constant shit. And all of that shit that you're dealing with is going to add up, and it's going to weigh on you. The uncertainty of how much money's coming in, people that are working for you that you're responsible for because you're paying their salaries, dealing with customers, dealing with emails, dealing with trying to keep up with the next biggest trends. All of this is very stressful. And so I tell myself to learn how to manage my stress better earlier, because in my 20s, I would just let that stress compound and I'd be sitting in my chair like this, okay? Because like everything was just so insanely stressful. It's good if you're running a business to have other hobbies outside of your business. Like I play hockey with the guys once a week. I play golf. I do other little things that keep my mind off of it and that keep me happy and just sort of more relaxed, because you bring all of that good energy back with you when you come back to work on your business. And if all you're doing is just constantly stressing yourself to death, you're not going to be very effective. Number 10, Rob, you just turned 20. Believe in yourself, man. All of these people that are telling you what to do with your life have no idea what they're doing themselves. They just went down some path because it was the right thing to do at their time in their lives. Teachers that told you you sucked at math, or maybe you got bad grades in school, none of that applies to how you're going to compete in the entrepreneurial landscape. Entrepreneurship is a game, and it has rules just like any other game. And the more that you play it, the more that you learn those rules and you learn how to beat them and how to win the game. That's all that this is. And so believe in yourself, because you know that you're extremely competent. You know that you're extremely capable. And I wish back in the day, I just had a little bit more confidence from the get-go to free myself to fully go after my dreams and what I really wanted to achieve. Let me know which of these is your favorite, or if you feel like I missed something that you would have added to this. I read every single comment, and hit the like button if you got value out of this video. It means a lot to me. And if you want to work closer with me and a community of other brand owners, check out the mastermind. There's a link in the description below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.